Welcome back to the Good Old Days series. This is a series that takes you back in the days and reminds you of some moments and memories zinaweza kuwa ushasahau. If this is the first time umejipata on this series ama on this particular video, make sure you like, subscribe, na kama the vlog ama the whole story itakunais, share with your friends. So it's my honor, it's my honor, like in this particular episode niko na a Dr. Dr. Sija interview mtu akona pronoun. So yeah, it's my pleasure and honor to host Dr. Lucy on my channel. She'll be telling us more about herself and her career and everything. Yeah, Dr. Lucy, welcome to the platform. Welcome to the series and the channel.
Thank you very much, Tony. Hi guys, I hope you're well. Yeah, Dr. Lucy, not MD, that's medical doctor, not MD, PhD. I have a PhD in mathematics. I teach at Strathmore University, the best university in East and Central Africa. And yes, I am so happy to be seated here, being interviewed and having this session with him. Yeah, because we want to share with you the good old days and we are hoping you're going to have fun. Yeah.
So, doctor, maybe you ever dreamt of becoming a doctor or something? Was that in one of your bucket lists, in your dreams?
Yes, I always knew that I'm going to become a doctor, but it was not PhD. I always wanted to be a medical doctor. You know, like what they say in Africa, that you can either have any four professions. You can either be those days. Yeah, you can either be an engineer, a lawyer, a doctor, or a disappointment to your family. So
black sheep of the family.
Yeah. So I think I'm pretty much a disappointment to my family. But
really?
You know, when you're thinking about those four,
the careers,
it was a doctor, engineer, lawyer, or a disappointment. So definitely I never wanted to be any other thing. But now, because I was as fate would have it, I can't stand blood. I will literally cry along with the patients, so I can't be an MD. So, and because I was a little gifted in mathematics, so I found myself pursuing this particular area. Yeah.
Ah, that's nice. So maybe you can tell us a little about your background. Where did you grow up? Where were you raised at? Tuambie. Yes, I'm a doctor kwa ligi fulani, but tuambie place ulianza.
Yeah. I was brought up in a children's home, a place called Kabete Children's Home. And then that is like for the first few years of my life, like 10, 12 years. And then later reconnected with my mother, who was living in Madar slums. And dropped out briefly from school, went to work in Isli as a house help. Got sponsored, like one of my teachers took me in until I cleared class 8. As fate would have it, I did well. Got sponsored by KEPAWAE, that is Kenya Professional Association of Women in Agriculture and Environment. They took me now to high school. I did well, and then from there on, yeah, the universe just smiled. Yeah, so that's briefly my history. Yeah.
So primary school, the name of the primary school?
Oh, it's a school called New Kiumbuni Primary School in Kangemi, and then I went to State House Girls High School. First degree, I went to Maseno University, studied BSc Actual Science with IT. Masters I did at Chiromo University of Nairobi. PhD I did with Strathmore, but my supervisor was from Leeds University. And then now post that, I have done a course with KTH, that is a KTH Royal Institute in Sweden. I've done a course with SBS, Strathmore, and currently I'm doing a course with Stellenbosch University in South Africa.
Oh. Tumeti. So like acha nikurudisha back in high school. High school, maybe any memorable, funky, you can remember?
Don't let me start. I think if there's some chicks from Stato, you guys you can attest, you can be. Tulikuwa sisi ndio tunawakilisha. Now let me tell you about State House, my experience.
Okay.
When I went to State House Girls, I was coming from the slums. So I could hardly speak in English. I was speaking Kiswahili all through, and then there was a way, State House those days used to be the
school.
State House. Yeah, you were studying with minister's kids and so forth, so it was quite elitist. So when you're a fresher, what we call mono, some of the first things you had to be trained in was how to walk, not to move. Walk.
Model.
Like, you have to swing your hips a little,
Right.
Yes, and you had to do it. And then you had to be taught how to walk, how to sit like a lady, how to carry your blazer when you go for funkies. Because State House used to the moment, like, some dude would just come and say, oh yeah, hi, you're from State House. You're like, yeah, why? How did you know? The way you're walking, the way you're carrying your blazer, like, we used to have a signature way of doing everything. And for us in State House, funkies used to be really important. And the way you presented yourself, even we used to have particular skirts for funkies. They had to be a little short, So it was like a religion.
Boy child,
Come on. Like, sisi ni wale mademu yani, alafu tunakuja tunakuongelesha kizungu unatii. Yeah, because that's why even I learned how to roll the R's. You can't say ati ruler, it's ruler.
It's like, I don't want to embarrass my family. Let me not embarrass my family.
So the moment you enter into the school those days, you were prepared for funkies. Because they looked at you as a brand of State House Girls High School.
Yeah, an ambassador.
Yes, a brand ambassador. You are the image of the school.
Right.
So the way you presented yourself mattered a lot, especially to the Form 4s and so forth. So, and then now there were two clubs that were mandatory to go for funkies. That is choir and drama. I'm gifted in singing somehow.
Can you sing? If you can you hear the vocals? If you have that favorite song, Unajua unaweza showcase something alafu kesho uko like,
need to buy my favorite is it was Chaupele mpenzi haya usemayo kama ni maradhi yapeleke kwa daktari. Chaupele mpenzi haya usemayo kama ni maradhi yapeleke kwa daktari. Wananiambia niache rumba na mimi sikuzoea, siwezi kuacha rumba kwa sababu yako. It just go like that. Do not judge me. Do not judge me.
Yeah, that's so nice.
Been
That's so nice.
Many, like,
I don't know, you people are like, wow, I'm impressed.
Yeah. So
yeah,
yes.
That's nice. That's
so
nice.
I was in the choir.
Na kwa nini hujapasio kama career bado? I think you can do good.
Yeah, as I mentioned, rather I have many kids. So right now I just want those brood of kids to get out of the house, and then I can go back to voice training and so forth. But the last time I sang was like 2003. So
Really?
yeah, that's
have you ever thought of doing it as a hobby, like maybe time, like now during the weekends when you're not at work, maybe unaweza kuwa na ka studio una pop up
Sijaifikiria your story, but yeah, I think because during the weekends I hike or I do other things. Yeah, but now that's why I'm saying, like, probably I'm hoping it will get to that point where I'll have more time to pursue
it as a career.
Yeah,
or
not a career, like as a hobby, but hoping it will give me money. But now with the current akina Ziad na Isanya hapo, I can't work now for the life of me. I think I'll die. Can you imagine? There's even this time I was telling my students, I'm a teacher by profession, so I was telling them, guys, I have made a very deliberate effort to be in class to teach you. You know, right now I can be anything. I can be a stripper. Then I'm like, well, now with this body, that's out of, and then the kids are laughing. So it's the same thing. Right now, I don't have much time to pursue that.
Okay.
But if I was to get into music, I'd probably go into a more serious space. Yeah.
Like you take it more as a business.
Yeah, more as a business, and also like go Eric Wainaina way, like music that makes sense, music that is meaningful. I'm not saying the others don't sing meaningful music. No, they do. But I think you get my drift, like yeah.
Now being a lek, unajua mimi nimepitia campus fund, nimefanya tu undergraduate, hoping to start my post soon. Unapeanga watu soup. Ndio ukweli. Unajua kuna panga na wale maleko wenyewe. Mtiaji bana.
Now this could be a good old days for some guys remembering their time in campo.
Yeah, the time in campo.
I think if any of my students is watching, they would say that I'm a very good lecturer. I'm kind. I'm considerate. I'll do everything that I can to assist my students. I'll work with them. I'll give them resources. I'll give them all the support they need. But if you don't do your work, if you don't do your part, then you'll definitely get a repeat or a receipt or a retake. But for the last 6 years, I've not had any of my students repeating any of my unit. But I'm suspecting this year I might have.
Hey, when you're which unit?
No, we ain't sharing that. Yeah, as I was marking, I was feeling like I want to cry. So yes, it's well.
What hurts a student is like you've been in that class, you've done your best, alafu results kwa portal unapata uko na receipt ama so. After the bad part nakwanga, you can't share that with your folks back at home. So like nakumbuka in my school ulikuwa unalipia dhao for any soup you get. So niwe sasa urudi huko chini utafute dhao ulipe alafu ujisort. So kuna kwanga na some background story.
Yeah, I think for me now as a lecturer strat, I think I do the very best,
to help the student not to
fail. That's why maybe now I can comfortably say 6-8 years I've not had retakes or even repeats. But now when you look at maybe other academic systems, like now mostly public unis, the advantage is that there is disadvantage and advantage. The disadvantage is that public university professors do not give you so much time to, as they are training you. So they do a particular percentage and then you do the rest. And but now the advantage in that is that it teaches you to pursue information, to become your own teacher. And I always say that information that you have self-educated sticks longer than being fed. Actually,
kuna kwa na quote like self-education is a fortune. Is more of a fortune.
Yes, because you hardly forget. And the analogy I give my students is, like now for instance, if I tell you, Tony, I'm going to give you a cut in 2 weeks' time, and this cut is going to be on regression analysis, hypothetically, you're going to sit down and cram and read so hard, and then 2 weeks later I come and give you the cut, you get an A. And then a semester later, I ask you, Shami, what is regression? You have no idea what I'm talking about. Or you have a vague idea, but you cannot get to the nitty-gritties of it. Like now when I meet first years, I ask them, tell me, how many of you studied chemistry? Hands up. Charles' law. Or those guys who studied physics, Hooke's law, or Archimedes' principle. They have no idea. Yet these are guys who got A's in these subjects. So, but now that is the first one. That's the Kenyan education system. Students cram, they pass an exam, they discard the information. And we complain later, or what kind of graduates are you giving us? But now, the other example is, let's say you respect me a lot. You'd want to work with me. Let's even say, who is the most, locally or globally, who would you like to work with or for?
To work with or for? Locally? Okay.
Even globally. Who is the guy you respect? Yeah, like you're thinking, wow.
I'd say Joe Rogan.
Joe?
Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan.
I think he's Ndo the blueprint in terms of podcasts. Yeah.
So let's say you go to a particular session, a cocktail party, and you get to stand next to him, and he says, "Oh, hi," and like, "Hi, my name is Tony. I come from Kenya." Like, yeah, and then you start talking, and then he said, "There's this project we have, and we want to kind of estimate some things or forecast some values in the future. But now, in as much as you're in podcast and you're in this particular area space, we'd like someone who understands a little bit of regression analysis." So he says, "Do you have any idea what that is?" And you're like, "You have never heard of that?" And then you're like, "Of course, I'm your person." And then he says, "See me after a week." Dude, you will read, you will YouTube, you'll do everything.
I'll take all the books.
Exactly. You will call me, Lucy. Take me, tell
Be
me,
my
yes.
private
Show me how we apply this in podcast. You know, by the time nakutana naye umeiva. Yes. 2 years later, if I meet with you and say, "Tony, tell me about regression analysis," you will tell me. Because this is an information you felt it is important, you sought it out yourself, you educated yourself, knowing that it is extremely important to know it. Now that's the difference when you look at now these two different. Sometimes I feel like public university students have that particular advantage. Like now in Maseno, good old days, I used to live in a college campus, annexes, and our classes used to be in the TVs, tuition blocks. You had to walk 2 kilometers in the morning. Maseno had an uncanny ability of raining every day in the morning. There's no bus and you have a 7 o'clock, meaning you have to get from your bed very early. It's drizzling and you have to be in some classroom at 7 o'clock. And the thing is, these lecturers don't care whether you come in or not. They don't. But you think, as Lucy is in her bed, she's thinking, "I need to learn linear algebra. So nitajamsha mwenyewe niende for that class." Now, as opposed to systems which insist that we have to sign in attendance registers, because you'll be thinking, my attendance imefika 67%. If I rather now my absenteeism is at 33. If I get absent again, I'll not sit for the exam. So you will show up for that class, not because you want to study linear algebra, but because you want to sign some attendance sheet. You got. So with each system there is advantages and disadvantages, and so in this other system, self-teaching, most students are lazy. They want to do rushy things. They want to cram there for like translate and sit for the exam. They will fail. So that system chants a lot of receipts.
I think we're talking about the microwave generation. Microwave.
Yeah.
So maybe you can tell me a part of, you did your PhD in Europe, something like that.
No, my supervisor was an Englishman.
He was an Englishman.
Yes.
So like you traveled and
Yes.
a part of your life will go back in Europe. Which country?
UK. Yes.
Maybe you can tell us maybe something you learned, you experienced there.
I think for me, I cannot, when I was studying and even during my work, I cannot even attribute most of what I know by my visit in the UK, but my visit in other African countries and in other countries generally, or even interacting with professors or lecturers or guys from different countries in different sessions. My first time to travel outside Kenya, I went to Cape Town, to an institute called, I went to AIMS, that is Africa Institute of Mathematical Sciences. I'd gone there for a summer school in preparation for PhD.
What's a summer school? Unajua kuna watu wa shule.
So summer schools are like, they're these established institutions where they have like now, for instance, AIMS is a mathematical institute. They teach maths and all mathematical sciences. So they would pick an area like mathematical finance, like which is modeling of mathematical models, or financial engineering. They pick that particular area and they decide this particular session we are going to study about financial models. So that whole period you will study financial models from the very beginning to the very end. So by the time you're getting out of that school, that particular period, you umeiva on anything financial models. So I saw a summer school on yield curve constructions and I was like, I'm interested. So I went there to study everything I could about yield curves. And that's why now when I came out of it, I came up with an idea of a PhD proposal and wrote it, and within 2 months I was done. So, and when I was there, I had a shock of my life. And that's where I started questioning a lot about Kenyan education system. Because when the lecturer put in some equations on the board, he said, these things, you must have met them in undergraduate. I had never seen them in my life. And I was a PhD student. So I was like, huh? And now I turned to the Ugandan, then the person sitting next to me was a Ugandan. When you are outside the country, you seek out people nearest to you. Yeah. So you look for Kenyans. If you don't find Kenyans, you look for the East Africans. Yeah.
Burundi.
Yeah. So you're like, oh, hi, where are you from? Where? So like, oh, okay, this one is from Uganda. So you have someone to start. Yes. So I'm like, have you ever seen these things? And he said, are you joking? Are you testing me? These things you are taught in ABCD unit in undergrad. I'm like, and that's when I knew my life was going to be a nightmare. And again, I'm not saying Kenyans we don't teach adequately. Maybe it's the way it is, or maybe there is the system. Yeah. So I found out that I had to study so much on my own, so much, for me to be at par with my colleagues. Yeah. And as I kept now traveling to different other countries, I got to learn very different ways of teaching, especially teaching mathematics, teaching calculus, my areas. And I realized that even the way we teach, and that's what even I was very happy when I got into this challenge-based education with KTH Royal Institute for Sweden, where now you teach by doing. You teach mathematics, students have to do something. You start with a challenge, and then as you teach that, but as you're solving that challenge, you're teaching different mathematical aspects of it, so that by the end of the semester, you have solved a problem. So, yeah, you've sorted out that challenge, and that's why now you see, like even in developed countries, in the US, in the UK, Europe generally, the way they teach sciences and mathematics, it is by doing. It is very, very different. And I just hope that one day I'll become someone who has influence enough to influence how STEM units are, how STEM courses are taught in Kenya. Because right now it's really, really, really wanting.
Do you think the CBC is so anything?
To some extent.
Maybe a bit, certain percentage.
Yeah, to some extent it will. But the thing is, someone, if you're to look at CBC, for example, is it a tool for the haves or the have-nots?
Haves or the have-nots.
Who does it advantage more? The people with money or the people without?
Without.
Why?
I think it's a system that is like accessible from all over the country.
CBC.
Yeah.
But look at the assignment items.
Okay.
The things parents have to
buy. For memes, my parents wanna complain and all that.
And then CBC has pushed a lot of the bulk of homework
or to the parent.
To the parent.
Not the student.
Higher. Yeah. It is good, well and good for parents living in urban areas, parents who are educated, like myself. But the thing is, think about that homestead where the mother is not educated. She's completely illiterate. Look at in Turkana, Garissa. Look at marginalized areas where the mothers are not educated. These kids, when you're sending them home, they have to do these assignments with their mothers. So the thing is, these children become more disadvantaged than with their older sister. So the thing is, now the gaps of now the people, like especially if the mother, I'm not even talking about the father here, if the mother is not well educated, and when I'm talking about well educated, doesn't mean degree per se. It means she has numerical skills and literacy skills adequate enough to guide the child. If she does not have adequate skills, then the children become more disadvantaged. Yeah, that is the first one. The second thing is that CBC has a lot of homework items. Yes, they say, oh, you can improvise. But what are they improvising with? If now a child from Nairobi, for example, the other day, like they're asked to bring some, we have to make a musical instrument with them, and they say we have to use real goat skin. Hi, uko Nairobi, uko katikati ya Kayole, goat skin unatoa wapi? Si utaenda kuiba. Ama uchinje donkey ya mwenzako. You know, so what it is hilarious. So I think there has to, we as a, when it comes to education sector, because education is an extremely important tool as an is an extremely equalization tool. We have to really think about how we are going to implement a particular system. CBC is good, yes. Exceptionally good, especially for the halves. The not just like extremely halves, but middle class and above, and maybe even lower middle class, the lowest middle class and above. But for the people who are struggling in the base of the pyramid, it is a nightmare.
Alright. Okay, let me take you back to high school. Talking about boyfriends. Unajua hapo form 2 form 3 na boys alikuwa amekumaliza.
My God, okay.
Maybe any name, maybe you can mention the name. Maybe you can big up. Maybe I can watch.
One, when I was in high school, I used to feel I'm out of depth because I was coming from the slums. This was a very elitist school, so I found it very hard to fit in. Fortunately or unfortunately, I became a cop, a prefect. Yeah, and I used to wear my hair in such a way. I'll share with you a photo.
Class,
Form 2. No.
Class
School
captain.
Yeah. I was not a captain. I was among the leadership. Like, yes, I eventually became a captain in Form 3, but in Form 2 you're selected a larger pool from which now they pick the leaders.
Oh yeah.
So I was in the school prefect.
In the school we used to call them, okay, Form 2 kulikuwa na junior prefects.
Yes, I was a junior cop.
Oh.
Yeah, junior prefect, and then now Form 3 I became a house captain.
Oh.
So that way now when we go to Fangis, for example, if you're a cop, you're in charge of the girls. So you ensure they get to the bus on time. That was the biggest headache, because girls will see you coming, they run that way, and you know they see the driver. So sometimes our driver even used to come out and beat people up because girls refused to get in the bus. And so for me, I had to support the administration and the organizers. Like now I had to get the girls on the bus. So that made me very unpopular, especially with boys' schools. And there's a time I had an incident at, I don't even know whether I should mention that.
Mention.
We had gone to Mango. I had gone to Mango for maths contest.
Mango ilikuwa na Mango Opens.
No, it was maths contest. It was national maths. Those days it used to be the only school that has national contest. And so as I said, first thing is I came from my mom was really strict. She used to say, nikiota si ati la jua igerota nyote unafikiria mvulana nitakuja nitakukujia hata nikiwa Masai nasema nitatembea mpaka Kizungu. So she put fear of God in your soul and fear of boys. And she would say that things like, oh, if he touches you, you get pregnant. And if you get pregnant, you come back to Madare, and then trust me, there is no shortage of examples of girls in the slums who've messed,
early marriages.
As a matter of fact, you are an exception. So she says you'll just become like anyone else. So the thing is, I had a very averse attitude towards boys being intimate with me, especially in high school. So this day, and then boys, many schools they started calling me captain. Okay, I used to wear my hair in a particular way, and then I'd put a pencil there to show that I'm serious. And then I'd flip it like this and write.
Talk to the hand.
Yeah, talk to the hand. My face is busy. Mango, I think it reached a point I had to be suspended from going to the school because
the contest now, the national contest.
Yes. I don't even think I participated in Form 4 because I was seated, we are waiting for results to be communicated, and this boy kept touching, like, anajifanya sijui ni ako ile.
Alikuwa mangu, ama alikuwa shule.
I can't even remember from, but I just remember it was a boy next to me, and he kept like at stop touching me, and then sijafanya
what are you doing?
What the hell are you doing? So I ended up stabbing him with a pencil.
For real?
For real.
Like, come stab.
No. That pencil, remember the pencil?
Yeah, the pencil.
Yeah.
Ulikuwa,
And it was bad.
I had a favorite movie character. So ilikuwa ito Cynthia Khan ama ni Cynthia Rothrock. Mwenye ilikuwa na. Alright.
Yeah.
Who was your favorite movie character back in the days? A guy, ama a lady pia?
Anne Hathaway, Princess Diary.
Princess Diary.
And for the guys is oh god, I think I'm so boring because it was this guy who keeps on acting with Chris Tucker.
Jackie Chan. Shikilia uzito. Hata mimi Jackie Chan is my favorite.
Yeah.
I used to love his movies. Kwanza there he's hilarious and mimi.
I'm telling you.
Shaisikia like kuna story nishaisikia like ashai fall. Unajua yes stunts zake zinakuwa real. Si ile ati green screen blah blah blah. He does them like they practice. Huyo msana falling from 6th floor. Like for real life. Ashai kuwa sijui hadi kwa hosi for like 6 months. Yeah.
Wow.
Just because of the movies. But I think Asha cement his legacy and all that.
Russia and Tuxedo.
Rush Hour.
And Tuxedo.
Tuxedo.
I know.
He has the suit and then he's like.
I know.
But I watched that movie Juicy on Netflix and it was the nostalgia. Huh?
Yeah.
Unajua like inakuwekanga. I think movies and music they are similar in terms of it takes you back to that particular point in time. Like if I watch Tuxedo right now, I'll see the young kid in me watching it.
For the first time, and you can even feel some form of energy and excitement.
Yeah.
For me, it's the first movie I ever watched was Serafina.
Oh yeah, Serafina. Me used to cry watching Serafina.
I know.
That part where the
streets are big.
Kwanza kuna place the Serafina like she sits on the like an electric chair or something.
Yeah, when she's been tortured.
Yeah, tortured and all that. Sad.
I know.
The young kid in me would be like.
I remember that even that period I almost crammed some of their songs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I would sing along.
And
because my favorite is one that goes na 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 na.
The sad song. It has a certain kind of emotion.
As they are going to the what as they are bundled in the lorries and they are being now taken to the prison.
Or to the prison. I remember
just before
that
the tortures, and then they start singing.
And then I used to love that teacher. You remember that teacher?
Oh,
I think
yeah.
she won an Oscar. Something.
She was
nominated.
Masumbuka. Mrs.
Yeah.
Masumbuka.
I used to love her. And then other movies that used to make us cry as kids were the Nigerian movies.
I know. Like there's this one.
Which one?
I think it has even been on memes. Like of this woman who dies and then her kids were really wanateswa and then her spirit comes kwa zindikisho akenda shule.
Yeah. I remember that. With the blood sister.
Yeah.
Gloria.
Someone said even her mother, when she's prayed, she prayed for those.
Hey, the good old days. They used to, okay, kuna movie fulani pia ilikuwa ya Ramsey Noah.
Yeah.
Like, I think it was True Love or something. Like where this guy loves this chick, but now everyone is opposing them. Like no one wants them to be together.
Yeah.
Now the girl gets pregnant. Now Ramsey Noah has to go to a mganga to seek for better life. And then the mganga tells him to stab the mirror. And then once he stabs the mirror, he stabs the girl.
Yes, I think so.
And then he sees that. Then going home, he sees the girl is almost dying. The girl dies. And then Ramsey Noah is there like, let me kill myself. naye anajistab. Hey man, sa hiyo point tulikuwa tunalia, and now when the movie is ending, some wanaonyesha wako in paradise. And then they tell each other like, true love never dies. Movie. Okay, it used to get me emotional, but I used to love it. I would rewatch it and cry. I rewatch it, and then every time you rewatch, I make sure I'm not sleeping alone. And then I'm not coming at 1 a.m. So yeah.
My God.
So yeah, that was one of my favorite Ramsinoa movies. Music, which was your favorite kind of music? Like, but mkiwa high school, movies would you listen?
Sisi tulikuwa tumekufa na Isa na this guy
Machines.
alikuwa sema ilikuwa
TZ from TZ. Kana mjua umsewa kikulacho. Umsewa
tunazikwenda. Then kidalipo tutaonana. I'm telling you, those days.
Of them, I think back in high school, okay, when you like was so much limited to fun. Now music, like I remember in my high school, music was now the fun.
Yes.
Like once the system would be put on, like everyone would be like crazy. Like indoor, this is what we know, this is the fun.
You're in boarding school?
Yeah, I was.
Did you guys used to have challenge, the weekend challenge?
Yeah, weekend challenge. See you.
And then people
No, killer weekend challenge.
and then everyone keeps on fainting all over. The spirit is and then what? And then no, for us, it used to be even so scary because the pastors that would be invited by the CU would talk about mapepo na manini, that everything around is binding you. You see people like if you have a rosary like now this one or rings, watch bangles, necklaces, and then anawaambia mashetani, and then watu wanaanguka. Some people are written like, oh look, she's moving like a snake. Hey, mnaangalia demu na mgopa.
Sasa hata kulikuwa nakumbuka nikiwa form 3, like kulikuwa kumekuja ka spirit fulani in the school, like sijui kwa hiyo stories za spirits zenye, like huyo msee alikuwa anasema he would see people at night, and then people started kuanza kuwa na ka spirit, like watu wananyonga. Mimi nilikuwa naona na Bible chini ya pillow. Watu walikuwa wananyonga.
Wanasema wananyonga nini?
Kwa siku. Unasikia? Hapo ndo time. It's like the movies. Unasikia kwa upepo fulani kama pipo. Unajua? Bali ilikuwa real. It's real. Ulikuwa unasikia mtu ameshout usiku. After we had a couple of days were suspended because of that story. Like now sasa venye ilifika, ilikuwa to a certain point. Sasa hiyo akiomba, place ilifika extreme. Kuna jamaa sasa alikuwa like anakuwa delivered. And then he started roaring. Nasikia kama simba. David kukuja hakutambua mapepo. Ndio kutambua mapepo, alikuja wakawachapa wote, and then he suspended like 10 or so days. Wakakuwa suspended. Lakini mashetani. I think that's memorable.
And then the challenges were full of crap. And then, but sometimes, now as an adult, when you look back, especially now, that reminds me of a situation in our school. There's a school I am on the board, and So what we realized is that the girls keep on fainting left, right, and center, and there's this thing in the school. The girls keep on fainting all over. So now I went to see the principal to ask her, now how do you deal with this? What do we do? And she said, her and the deputy decided they will term fainting as a case of indiscipline. So if you faint, you're indisciplined. And if anyone helps you, ati wanakubeba sijua kupeleka wapi, even them, they are indisciplined. So now unaanguka, no one tends to you. Less than 2 days, the fainting ended.
What?
So sometimes to high school students wanapanga walimu. That's why depa kutambua mapepo. Aliona hizi.